Hey guys, Melon Popper here again. I want to give you a brief tutorial on how to get your Pimax set up so that you can run BeamNG in VR mode. Alright, I'm also going to make probably a separate video on how to get it to play VR mode in multiplayer. That's where the real fun is, and that's where I'm headed. So I'll share those settings with you to kind of get you along for the ride. And let's see, a good starting point. We want to make sure we've got BeamNG installed, and also which you can get it from Steam. But BeamNG should be in this list here, my assets, my applications. If you don't see it there, click refresh. If that doesn't do it, click import, and you can see that my Steam directory is on my computer called Beast. On my D drive, Steam apps, Steam library, Steam apps, common, BeamNG, and then you simply select the executable file, BeamNG drive.exe, hit open, and that will add this icon here, and you're ready to configure it. Your location is probably going to be like C, program files, x86, Steam, Steam apps, common, and then you should have a BeamNG folder in here with that same executable file inside. So that's the full path right there, potentially. Okay, so then you want to go to settings. Go to Pimax Crystal Light in my case. Go to device settings. Here's how I have mine set. I keep this at 120. It seems to work fine. If yours runs hot or you want to use less power, or you're having flickering issues or screen tearing issues, try a lower hertz closer to the refresh rate that your game is running at in VR. But 120 works for me, so I'll leave it. So in games, you want to select BeamNG. I've got about 100 of everything now for some reason. That wasn't like that a minute ago, so it's probably just a bug. Let's see. Yeah. Anyway, so normally it doesn't do that. So you'll need to check the box because it's new, enable program setting, and then I'm messing around with like 60% quality. It seems like 55 was a little blurry, but it ran 60 frames per second. This will probably run closer to 55 frames on my AMD 7900 XTX that's not overclocked. I also have a AMD 5900 X3D, and it's not overclocked. So then you want to check Pimax OpenXR, quad views, performance. Later you might, once you get everything dialed in, you might uncheck that and just let it render the whole screen in full detail. If your frame rate's acceptable, you might try that, disabling that. Okay, in the other settings, make sure OpenXR runtime is Pimax OpenXR. Make sure you've done your updates for your headset firmware. Under advanced, I uncheck pass-through, and I don't use the chaperone either. So, okay, back to games, back to BeamNG, make sure that's selected. Got it on 60% here. Apply those changes if you hadn't already. And click start. And I have had trouble with this box being in the background behind Assetto Corsa Evo in particular. It caused massive frame rate drop and stuttering and micro stutter. So I just close that out, get it out of the way, and then I minimize the main menu. Okay, for VR you have to launch it in Vulkan mode. And just for testing, we're just going to go to free roam. Hiroshi Raceway is my favorite. And we're going to start on the starting line. And then we're going to click spawn. Okay. I'm not going to mess with the truck, so right off the bat, hit escape. Delete. Oops, sorry. Hit escape. Manage. Remove. Escape. Manage. And I'm just going to pick a vehicle that I enjoy driving. Hill climb asphalt. Alright. So first off, this is 2D. Usually I have about 120 frames in 2D. It's working its way up there. I'm watching it. Yep. It's kind of suffering because I'm recording on a second hard drive and then playing on the first hard drive, so there's a lot going on. But normally I get about 120 frames with the ultra details on, and you can go to options and graphics. Let's see, I've got it set to ultra, just kind of a quick and dirty, and you can turn off the motion blur and depth of field if you don't like that stuff. All right. So everything else I just left high, and I changed anti-aliasing to FXAA. It's just a little bit more costly version of it, but it's a little bit sharper. It'll get rid of some of the railing issues, flickering issues. All right, so like I said, normally I get 120 frames here, and that's good in 2D. And so if I can get half of that in VR, then that's perfect. But I probably got the details up a little too high. So I have set the default bind to change the camera view is C. I like the in-car view, so I'm going to hit C again. All right, and then you can hit escape. I'll show you where those settings are. Escape, go to options, go to display, scroll down to VR. To enact it, to activate it, hit Control Numpad 0. And then this one was headset, the center option. It was like Control Numpad 5. I changed that to Shift because I'm used to that on some other games. Shift is used for a lot of other stuff, but just to center the VR real quickly doesn't really cause any problems, I don't think. So the rest of it I left alone. Oh, I did uncheck use VR controllers. I don't think I have a need for that. Alright, so we can just hit activate here, and it's going to tell you welcome to VR. If you're not running the Vulkan version of this, it will not work. It'll say something like you have to run Vulkan, and you have to exit the game and start it with the launcher. Alright, so understood. Now we're in VR mode. Now we can just, with our mouse, click this, back. Okay, so frame rate right now, it's about 34, 43. Well, it's real high now because I'm up in space. Let me get the helmet on. All right, and then I've got shift set to center. Okay, looks pretty good actually. Let's see what frame rate we're getting here. 54. Hey, I'm happy with that. That's about half of Okay, this is an automatic. I think you can press the Q button, and it'll yeah, and that's manual shift. Well, reverse works. Oh, there it goes. It was a neutral or something. Yeah, there we go. And we're just like that. We're playing BeamNG in VR. And it looks pretty good. This is, I think we had, what, 60%? There's no cars on the track. It's just me, so this is, you know, this is best case frame rate scenario. Whoa. But you could probably turn off grass and some other options and bump that frame rate up if you want to run a higher resolution on the Pimax without hurting the frame rate too much. Because like I said, this is everything is on ultra, and I'm sure shadows cost something, and this thing is barely accelerating in the wrong gear, huh? Can't see what gear I'm in. Kind of need the camera up a little higher so I could squat down and hold shift, and that kind of artificially puts me up. Alright, that's clipping a little bit there. Let's get comfortable. Shift. That's pretty close. Whoop. Okay, I think we'll end her there. We killed the car. But anyway, we got the video going with VR, and it looks pretty darn good. Right here, we're sitting at 53 seconds. So I'll do another video. Stay tuned for that. The next one will be on how to get all this working, and we'll do some multiplayer gameplay and see how that plays. Maybe some cops and robber action. I think that'll be fun. In any case, I Twitch stream multiple times a day. I also have a Discord channel. If you click on more on the description details, it'll show you those links to my social stuff. And you're welcome to hang out. And I always post when I'm going to stream, and love it when people join in the server with me and fly planes or race cars or shoot guns, whatever we're going to do. In any case, GG's. I'll see you next time.